Hello, I'm Tanner. Not too long ago, I finished reading a book that would change my perspective on the way things go viral. It's called Contagious, Why Things Catch On by Jonah Berger. The book details the way videos, marketing practices, and other things gain traction through a series of conditions Berger calls steps. The steps in question are social currency, triggers, emotions, public, practical value, and stories. So today, I'm going to summarize each of the steps and list various video examples related to them. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's face it, I'm antisocial. But Berger states that being social is one way that things catch on. Being social contributes to social currency or shared knowledge between people. Through social currency, people gain a sense of belonging to a social group. And because groups feel belonging, they talk. One social currency example I know of is Club 33, Disneyland's exclusive VIP club and restaurant. It implements game mechanics with its year-long member application waitlists, demonstrates remarkable qualities through its historic Disney memorabilia, and makes members feel like members through privileges such as year-round Disneyland access. And it was these factors that really got people talking. As a result, more people are aware of what was once a nearly unknown Disney secret. Having people talk about something like Club 33 is one thing. Getting them to think about these things is the challenge. This is where triggers or social cues come into play. They may not appeal to everyone, but their purpose is to get people to think about products and ideas often. Triggers are the reason I still remember a 2009 Baskin-Robbins commercial featuring the Buckwheat Boys song, Ice Cream and Cake. The triggers are everywhere in that ad. Mouth-watering visuals? Check. Repetitive song lyrics? Check. Put those together, and you've got yourself a fun commercial that'll link people right back to Baskin-Robbins. The reason this commercial works is not just because of visuals and a repetitive song, but because Baskin-Robbins found a way to get its commercial to stick, even years after it aired. When I watched the Baskin-Robbins commercial again, I felt a sense of joy and nostalgia, and my emotional response was so great that I had to talk about them. Simply put, that's what emotions are all about. Like I mentioned in video assignment 2, they evoke awe, trigger arousal, and encourage people to take action. Here's an example. In 1997, the gaming company Sega faced declining Japanese sales for its then current console, the Sega Saturn. So to increase sales, Sega created the advertising character Segata Sanshiro, a martial artist who performs all kinds of superhuman feats and beats up people who don't play Sega Saturn. The ads were silly, but Segata Sanshiro invoked awe and inspiration amongst Japanese youth, and thus Sega Saturn sales increased. Sadly, the spike was short-lived, but the campaign lives on as an example of emotional power. Sega Satan! Let me tell you something. None of the previous video examples would have caught on if they were not made public. Yes, even Club 33. Public, according to Berger, is another way of saying monkey see, monkey do. When people see others doing something publicly, they become obligated to copy the behavior, even if the behavior is potentially dangerous. Be that as it may, public things catch on because they can be visually observed. Take the 2014 ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, for instance. It was weird, but everyone seemed to be doing it at the time, even Bill Gates. It was so crazy that at one point, my cross-country teammates dared me to take the challenge myself. Though tempted, I ultimately forfeited because to me, the Ice Bucket Challenge was just a trend. And just like other trends, it didn't last. But it caught on because people could see it happening. If it hadn't been made public, it never would. Ooh, cold. Okay. Dumping a bucket of water on yourself won't get you anywhere in life, but do you know what will? Practical value. We love practical information that makes our lives easier. When we encounter something that is useful to us, we're bound to share it. Of course, everyone wants to share something useful, but how to do so in ways that are unique and of worthwhile practical value. Wisecrack's 8-Bit Philosophy video series does this to a T. The series discusses philosophical topics with classical video games acting as backdrops. My favorite 8-Bit Philosophy episode is an explanation of Plato's allegory of the cave as portrayed by The Legend of Zelda. Being a die-hard Zelda fan myself, I geeked out. But at the same time, I also learned about the allegory of the cave and the philosophical nature of reality in 3 minutes. But it seems that the practical value of 8-Bit Philosophy would best match social settings fascinated with philosophy and/or video games. This doesn't make up everyone, but I'm confident there's someone who will find these videos useful. The allegory of the cave is a story within itself, and stories, Berger says, are the passing of underlying ideals embedded within a shared narrative. The narratives draw attention, but deep down there's lessons and practical values to be taken. But what really makes these stories valuable is that they can be traced back to their definitive sources. These qualities of stories are true for just about every story, even the ones that are seemingly untrue. Tana Mojo is infamous for her questionable relationship stories, and yet she's got a massive online following. I don't understand why she's famous, but maybe her fans are just able to see value in her stories that I can't see myself. But recently, I watched a video where Tana explained the truth behind her crazy relationships. She admitted that people her age are just beginning to explore life, and that she's just describing her life experiences in the most honest way she can. Never thought I'd say this, but I was able to find value in a story that can only be traced back to Tana Mojo herself. And there we have it, the steps from Jonah Berger's Contagious. They aren't guaranteed to make things go viral, but the tips and tricks Berger covers have proven time and time again to work. Why? Because even the most mundane things can catch on. All we have to do to make that happen is to take the first steps. Do-do-do.